Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Team Dinner. My name is Jack Maloney, and my guest today is Corean Reynolds. Corean, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Corean is the Director of Nightlife Economy for the City of Boston, so we have much to cover, and we're eating from bread.
We sure
So
are.
we got a lot of food. It smells delicious. Mouths are watering, and we're going to dive in. We're going to chat.
Let's do it.
Cool. And so first question, the question I like to start people off with is we are more than halfway through 2025. New restaurants are coming. Restaurants are leaving us, sadly. What is the best meal you've had so far in 2025?
That's like picking your favorite child.
I know. It is a
It's
challenge.
tough. All right, I'll say two because they kind of fall under the same umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
So the umbrella is lives up to the hype.
Sure.
Okay.
That's hard. That's a hard
It is
window.
hard.
Yeah.
So the first one is my mother's cutlets.
Mm-hmm.
I had the number 3, which is a cutlet sandwich with a vodka sauce and burrata. That vodka sauce is like 10 out of 10.
Great.
I need that every single day. And then one of the late night food trucks, Merle's, they have oxtail loaded fries, and it is literally the most perfect thing you can eat during the day, but also at 2 a.m. when you're in the middle of your shift or leaving a club.
Sure.
So those are the two that I would say, wow, that was 100% worth it.
Those are great recommendations. They have an oxtail fry here. I almost got it. Now you have me regretting that. But
Oh, listen, the cousin Stiz fries are legendary, so I'm glad you got those. Have to try them.
Trying to get a shot of those before we tear them apart. Cool. Well, that's a great answer. A great way to start the conversation. I'd love to maybe jump back and talk just briefly about your backstory and how you got into this position. I know the city's not had this type of role previously, so it's just I'm fascinated on like how the origin stories of these things and how you kind of got to here, sitting across from me today.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Chicago. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and then I went to school for urban planning. And the reason why I wanted to go to school for urban planning at Michigan State University, go green. The reason why I wanted to study urban planning was because I really want to understand how to invest in communities. I grew up on the south side, and there was a lot of investment in those communities, and I wanted to be an advocate for the businesses and my neighbors who saw that. And I wanted to grow communities. So got that urban planning degree and came here, and I worked at the Boston Foundation for 7 years, investing in small businesses, creating an investment fund, and investing in the local nonprofit ecosystem that helps create businesses, helps grow businesses, and it was kind of written in the stars that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to invest in my community and the businesses around me. But the city had this great opportunity, and the way this role kind of came about is in the past, in previous administrations, there had been some efforts to look at the night, see how we can strengthen it, but no one really fully invested in this effort. And to be a strong city, you have to be a strong 24-hour city. Yep. And Mayor Michelle Wu saw that. And so she created this position. I was lucky enough to get this position and be the first person to be in this role. And essentially my role is to strengthen our nighttime economy and to be a liaison between our residents, our patrons, our business owners, to ensure that we have a thriving, safe nighttime economy and a strong 24-hour economy.
Yeah, I love that. And how do you find balancing what the neighbors want, the neighborhood wants, and what the businesses want, and what the broader community wants? I mean, that sounds like a very tough, if not impossible, balance to strike. I mean, how do you must spend a great deal of time trying to navigate that.
There's 23 different neighborhoods in the city of Boston, and each one of them is just so uniquely itself. And so nightlife is going to look different in each one of those neighborhoods in the city. And so it's really about going to those neighborhoods, involving community in the process, and thinking through, what does nightlife look like in Rosendale? What does nightlife look like in Jamaica Plain or in Alston Brighton? Listening to our constituents, our businesses, our residents, and uplifting those ideas. through different programming. So what I was fortunate to be able to do through American Rescue Plan Act grant money was last fall, we invested in over 50 events throughout the city, and those were we called it the Wake Up the Night grants. And we had an open call to anyone who had an idea that they wanted to do something at night in their neighborhood. These were community-driven ideas. We got 300 different ideas, and we were able to invest in over 40 different organizations. We had those 50 events, and over 20,000 people participated in those events throughout the neighborhoods. And the events none of them looked the same.
Yeah.
In East Boston, at Pierce Park, we had late night glow in the dark kayaking.
Yep.
In Rosendale, we had an all women's rock show. In Mattapan, we had a roller skate, a women in hip hop event during Halloween. It spanned the gamut, and the best thing about that was I didn't prescribe what nightlife looked like in that neighborhood. It was the community that wanted it, and so I was glad to invest in that.
Yeah, that's great. That's I mean, you have come in a place where people are incredibly passionate. I'm sure you must get calls and complaints because things are not fixed overnight, right? And people care deeply about this, right? Because there's always kind of, and listen, I'm from here. I've lived in New York City. They are oil and water in a lot of ways, but I think people compare New York, right? They spend a weekend in New York and they're like, why doesn't Boston have X, Y, or Z? Different. I think they're not the same. But have you found, so this passion and maybe passion to a point of mania exists, but what have you found kind of broadly are in this role, since you've been in this role, like what are the things that Bostonians are most passionate about when it comes to nightlife?
Well, I'll start off by saying, like, party is political,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that passion comes through. I joke around and I say I'm people's therapist. I'm the nightlife therapist.
Yeah.
And, folks have been working in late night industries, whether it's bars, restaurants, nightclubs, or hospitals, construction, emergency services for years. And they have all this institutional knowledge, lived experience, and the fact that they have a human being that they can pick up the phone and call and reach out to solve their unique issues is paramount, right? And because it's the first of the kind, that passion hasn't necessarily been expressed, and so we've allowed folks through this position to express that and think through how we can support that. One of the issues was, I can't find anything to eat in the middle of the night. Nothing's open past 2 a.m. or 12 or 10 in my neighborhood. And this was not just coming from folks who were leaving the club. This was coming from folks who are nurses and doctors at night. It was coming from our firefighters at night. And they deserve access to food just as much as folks who work in 9-to-5 positions. And so we're like, let's think through this. And we also had a food truck industry that was created 15 years ago with help from Mayor Michelle Wu when she was an intern for Mayor Menino, that had been severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. And so the creation of Mayor Wu's late night food truck program allowed us to address the issues of access to food, and then address the issues of this industry that needed to bounce back. And now we have 7 different locations throughout the week where folks can access the food that they want and feel nourished and feel seen and feel heard about their issues.
That's great. Do you, if you had to take a guess, what the 3? So in my comments, I love them. I have people that will just tell me their opinions in not always the most polite terms.
I'm familiar.
Yeah. I can only. That's why I'm saying, like, if they're doing that to me, if you had to guess what the 3 items that people kind of shout at me are in Boston, would you be able to
I definitely think I would be able to.
What do you think they might be?
The tea.
That's one?
All right. Businesses close too early.
That's it?
And why don't we have happy hour?
That's it, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm good at my job right now.
Yeah. And then the fourth one is a much grayer area one, which is like we need more, like broadly, right?
Yes,
Which
yeah,
I think
yeah.
is like, can you be more specific? But yeah, those are the three things. The tea closes too early. Why don't we have happy hour? And
More.
and yeah, more. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
More,
yeah,
please.
yeah.
Faucet open.
Yeah. So it seems like we have the Venn diagram of where people are complaining. I feel like, I feel pretty cool that they're complaining to me too.
And I will say on those three things, the city can only do
Yeah.
what they can, but a lot of it is kind of regulated by, or is regulated by the state.
Yeah.
And so my role is to listen to the constituents of Boston
Yeah.
and uplift what they want, but I have to partner with the state. And the state has been pretty accepting of late night initiatives, especially if you look at the expansion of liquor licenses,
Yeah.
right? Boston had a cap on the amount of liquor licenses, and we petitioned the state saying, hey, we need more, especially in the neighborhoods that have been underserved when
Yeah.
it comes to liquor licenses. And we were able to win and get 225 liquor licenses, and we're really proud about the work that we're doing to make people know about this
Yeah.
opportunity and show that when we advocate and when we push, how state and local
Yeah.
government can work together to solve
Yeah.
problems rather.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that program because I think that is like exactly it. Having in a past life I worked on the brand side for liquor, but I spent a ton of time at restaurants and bars trying to sell, and just that whole thing, and like margins on food are really bad.
Yeah.
They are so bad, and margins on liquor are really good, especially comparatively, right? And so like that can be a lifeline to places, and it can be the difference between turning a little bit of profit or staying in business and not staying in business, right? And I think because of that cap, because of the cap and probably some maybe more nefarious reasons of the past, there are neighborhoods that got nothing, right? And then what they did get would be bought and then moved to a different neighborhood, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I think that program is really important. Have those licenses started to go out yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So for example, we have Jadu, right? And Jadu is in Jamaica Plain. They started off as a daytime coffee shop,
Right.
and now they're a wine bar at night,
Yeah.
right? And it's a cozy community space where they have a strong point of view, but it's something we didn't have in that neighborhood. I live in JP, so I have access to it.
Yeah.
Just a 5-minute walk, but it's those stories where these smaller businesses on our main streets, they're getting an opportunity that they wouldn't necessarily have when we didn't have these licenses.
Yeah, and I think that is like, call it community building, call it whatever you want. Like, listen, we need everything. We need a wine bar in Jamaica Plain, and we need a nightclub in the Seaport, right? And you can't have one at the expense of the other.
No.
And I think when you cap those licenses in the way that it has been previously, what's going to make more? What's worth more, a wine bar or a 1,000 top whatever? You know what I mean? Like.
And that's why it was important to make them location specific. So most of them are location specific, and so it allows for that liquor license to stay in that community.
Yeah.
It allows for that asset to stay in that community. So if it doesn't work out with one business, another business can utilize it. It's not going to go over to the Seaport. And I think that's one of the unique aspects of this that will help grow community and build what they want to see utilizing these liquor licenses.
Yeah, I love it. Some good old-fashioned regulation, right?
Gotta love it. Policy.
Yeah, what kind of on that note of policy and the work you're doing kind of at City Hall and with regulators, is there anything about this job that is more challenging than you would have expected before you started? All of it?
Well, the role is to serve all of Boston, right? And we just spoke about how Boston proper has 700,000 residents, and then Greater Boston has 5, and it's a lot of dot connecting, and people haven't felt heard prior to this role. And so really ensuring that folks feel like they're connected to resources, really ensuring that they feel like they're being heard, really ensuring that the neighborhoods are growing with us, because with this role comes change, right? I'm changing what nightlife looks like. I'm improving what nightlife looks like. And sometimes change is uncomfortable. Sometimes change is scary. And so I think we're changing culture. And with culture shifts, that requires a lot of legwork, and it requires more time than one would want. And so I think the managing people's excitement and their expectations, and how and then the timing of what culture shift, how long that takes, has been, I think, the most difficult part about this role.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. Everyone wants everything, and they want it yesterday.
Right now.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So if you had a magic wand, and you could change one thing immediately today, and you didn't have to go through any kind of city hall, you didn't have to go through any regulations, any permitting process, you could just snap your fingers and make one thing possible in Boston today. Do you know what it would be?
Whoa, that's a big question. There's so many things to choose from. I would say I would allow for the ease of like just creating spaces in the city of Boston, right? To have businesses be created without running into like permitting or zoning issues, and allowing folks to have the resources they need to start a space that they need, right? Having a BIPOC owned queer nightclub, or having, an underground techno club, or I think the barriers to a brick and mortar space, I would just say, hey, none of that. Let's get this party started, right? And then having residents embrace it too, because again, there's this something new coming into their neighborhood. There, the fear of what might happen. And if I could just erase that fear, that would be great.
It's I think that's we've had a couple of really interesting conversations about that. One example is I spoke to a chef owner of a very successful restaurant. By any stretch of the imagination, this restaurant is doing as well as you could expect. It's a small space. She has been looking, this is in Cambridge, so not Boston, but same concept, right? She has been looking for a long time for possibly a bigger space, right? More tables, bigger bar. She can't find it, right? She has, by any metric possible, she has succeeded. And she still cannot find a space available because we don't have a lot of space, right?
We're dense cities.
It's a challenge. And then the other thing that I talked about we had Steve Clark of the MRA on, and we talked about we were referencing just having spent some time in like Asian cities, like really densely populated Asian cities, like Hong Kong or Singapore or Tokyo, and like the food hall model, and like what kind of what some of these other cities have done that we could learn from, which is actually a question I wanted to ask you, which is, have you seen anything happening in the U.S. specifically that you've seen over the past 10 or 15 years that we think like, oh, we could learn from what they're doing?
I mentioned Nashville, I mentioned New Orleans, but even if I could go internationally,
please.
With Montreal, they have special zoning for their like downtown districts that allows for a 24-hour entertainment corridor. And the residents that live there understand the sound that might be omitted during partying times, and there's special zoning and incentives for folks to come in and activate that area. And it's just really cool that they were able to foster vibrancy and along with businesses and residents and government, and create this really unique part of the city. And so I learn from my counterparts all the time, and I try to take bits and pieces and kind of create this Frankenstein. But Boston's uniquely Boston, and so I learn from them. But there's also so much that I have to translate to say, how would this work here? And not everything's going to work, but there's way that we can adapt and learn and grow.
It's a great answer. Montreal is a great city, so
it is.
As much as we can borrow from Montreal, I'm okay with that.
I'm down with that.
Cool. All right. Well, I would love, if you're okay with it, to ask some kind of rapid fire questions.
I'm ready.
The stuff that does well on social media.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna start with, it is hot today. It's been hot. It's going to be hot tomorrow and next week. On a hot day in Boston, what are you doing? Where are you going? How are you beating the heat? Do you have anything that you like to do on a oppressively hot Boston day?
Well, I'm gonna embrace being outside, because there are a lot of months where we don't like to spend outside because it's so cold. So if it's not a day that there's an open street, so the city of Boston has a program called Open Streets, and we go to various neighborhoods on a Saturday, and we shut down their main road. We work with neighbors and businesses to kind of make a large street fair. So if it's not a day on that, because that's where I'm going to go, if it is one, this is how I'll do my day. So a little bit of me time, a little bit of self-care, and what that looks like for me is getting my nails done. So I'm either going to Nay or B in Alston Brighton, or Pink and Pretty in Dorchester and getting those done. Then I'm going to brunch, and I'd probably go to Estella. Estella has this like salmon, BLT, avocado croissant sandwich, and then get like a table pancake, because why not? And they have this like dulce de coco pancake that is to die for. Like, it's literally the best pancake I've ever had. Then I'm going to Uncommon Corner, which is a beer garden in the Boston Commons. Harpoon's there, gonna get a beer, and then Emerson does live music there. And then what else are we doing? We have to go over to like the Seaport area and eat outside. And so if I'm staying in the Seaport, I'm going to go to Lolita's for dinner, or Marcelino's for a boozy dinner. But it's summer, so we're trying to be on a boat whenever we can. So I can go to the Seaport, hop on one of the water taxis, and go to like Real House or Mita. And then end my night chasing around my favorite DJ, whether it's like DJ Slick Vic or DJ Real P or DJ Lana. I'm going to the Grand, or I'm going to Bijou or Han. And so that is my perfect summer day.
Perfect summer Saturday. That's great. That's a full day.
You have to back it. You don't get a lot of those days, so you gotta live it up.
That's right. I love it. I respect it. That's a great answer.
Thanks.
Cool. All right. Another question, which is, so you've been in Boston for a while now. Have you found there's a type of food that is made here that kind of flies below the radar, that doesn't maybe get the credit it deserves? We talk a lot about Italian food and seafood here. Is there something you think is done well that doesn't get the credit it deserves?
Well, I think Bostonians know this, but not folks who necessarily visit Boston. But we have such a large Caribbean culture here. And so it's going to be some type of Caribbean food. And so it's Blue Mountain in where is it, Mattapan, or El Dugout. And so if you're visiting Boston and you don't have Caribbean food, I don't think you're getting the full perspective of Boston and what it has to offer, really.
I agree. We've talked a lot about Haitian food here. I think there's Haitian,
Gourmet Creole, shout out to them.
there's really good Haitian food that does not get a lot of respect There is a lot of Dominican food, right? We've got
Alex Jimmy's.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite
We got
meals.
into once there was a big debate between Dominican food between Dorchester, between Lynn and Lawrence.
Oh, wow.
And so
I don't want to be a part of that debate.
I am abstaining from that conversation, but
I'm Boston. I'm gonna put on for Boston, but I don't want to be a part of that debate.
That's a great answer. All right, here's one which is it's your last night on Earth.
No.
You're gone tomorrow. You're getting one final meal in Boston tonight. What are you eating?
That's tough because I want everything. A little bit of everything. I would say, oh man, it's gonna be pasta.
Okay.
And I'm in between two.
Okay. You can have both. It's your last night.
Oh, okay. If it's my last night, I'm gonna have a lot more things than just pasta. Let me tell you. I'm going to have either the gnocchi from Mita.
Okay.
It's like little pillows that melt in your mouth.
Yeah.
Or the black pasta aglio olio from Daily Catch.
Oh yeah.
That is some fire pasta right there. Then for dessert, I'm either gonna have like a Florentine cannoli from like Bova's.
Yep.
Or a chunky Lola cookie from Flour.
Perfect. Perfect. I was just thinking about Daily Catch too. I haven't been there in so long.
It's worth a visit.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love it. I think that's like one of the coolest little, because it's not like a lot of other places in the North End, right? It just feels different while you're there.
Yeah.
I love it. Cool. All right. Here's another one. Do you have a favorite budget meal in Boston?
Oh, totally. So Ideals.
Uh-huh.
It's on Dudley Street.
Okay.
And it's this very unassuming sandwich shop. They close at like 3:00 every day, 2:00 on maybe Saturday, and it's the best tuna sandwich that you'll ever have, and it's so cheap.
Yeah.
You almost feel like you're stealing it.
Yeah.
And it's stayed the same and consistent for years and years. And there's a line at the door every single time you're there. Cash only.
Yep.
But some of the best places are cash
true.
only.
Yeah.
And so that is the perfect budget meal. And you get a lot of food for what you pay for.
All right. Then in ending here, I would love to talk about, again, we are more than halfway through this year. Is there anything that you are excited about, that you're working on, that we want to talk about here? Like what's kind of the back half of your year look like? I'm sure you have plenty of things, many irons in the fire, and what's kind of something that's kind of got you excited as we go into the back half?
Yeah, a lot of my work is working with the other departments in the city, and I have some colleagues that are doing a lot of great work, and I'm excited about the opportunities that they're creating. A lot of folks complain about like nightlife being a little too expensive, and they want more low cost or free options. And so I'm excited about we have a summer dance series, a dance party series on City Hall Plaza on Fridays, and we've got some of the best DJs coming to City Hall Plaza for free, where you can just party outside and enjoy a summer Friday. We have a series in Franklin Park where on Tuesdays you can hear a live band and just hang out, do a little cookout. There's food trucks. That's a good family-friendly thing. And then we have like movies at night that are family-friendly. Get some ice cream from JP Licks and bring a blanket and watch Finding Nemo in the park, in your local park, right? And so uplifting those opportunities and ensuring that folks know that nightlife doesn't have to be expensive, and that there are community-driven solutions that not only community members are putting on, but that the city is investing in, is super important. And then as far as the work that we're doing at the Office of Nightlife Economy, it's ensuring that we have a safe nightlife economy, a safe nightlife, that folks feel like their issues are being heard, that their issues are being addressed, and that they feel comfortable going out, they feel safe going out, that they feel empowered to go out, based off of the resources that we're providing, and as far as like trainings are concerned, and those drink covers, and working with other community groups and city departments to foster that safety.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it. That's a lot.
I stay busy.
Yeah. That's great. Well, I look forward to seeing all of that kind of come together, and whatever you can't share that's too big. I'm sure you got a lot of those too.
Oh,
So
I've got a couple of those, but we're gonna wait.
We'll
I'll
wait
come
for
back. How about
yeah,
that?
That's the deal. We'll look forward to those in this year and beyond. Corean, thank you so much for coming in. It's been a pleasure, and please come back anytime.
I will, for sure, especially if you're gonna have these
That's
fries
right.
here.
Now we can eat.
Okay, awesome.